I believe we're live. Hopefully I get all this stuff good. As you guys are here, let me know if you guys are having any issues with audio. I'm going to check on my end here, make sure everything is live and we're actually there. I see a feed and all that good stuff. Takes a while for that, so just come on and leave your comments and stuff like that. And also, if you can, let me know if you hear me clearly. I finally do see the feed, so there I am. Awesome. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Hopefully get this mic a little closer. I don't know, move a little closer, who knows? All right, so welcome to today's live stream where we're going to be talking about the Samsung S95K and the, S95K and the Sony, S95B and the Sony A95K. These models, very similar in naming. First thing I want to do, we had a couple of members that came on, so I want to thank all of you guys for being members. I'm going to see who we got here. We've got, oh, and by the way, thank you for everybody who's donated to our ongoing fundraiser for Hope for Pause. We've reached $803 as a lifetime goal, so making the world a better place one step at a time. So thank you guys for that. It's really freaking awesome of you. So shout out to Ringo La Pauline. Thank you for joining and becoming a member. And Sabian Man 1. So yeah, thanks man, I appreciate you as well. Sorry for butchering your name, but yeah, I do have a little bit of a cough, so don't freak out. I've already been to the doctor, it's not COVID. Okay, so we're fine. Now, as far as questions and all that fun stuff, we're going to answer a lot of them. So we've got Craig, you said congratulations to the winner. Yes, so to the winner of both of our cash prizes, congratulations to all you guys. It goes incredibly fast. I'm kind of like baffled by how quick some of you guys can input the numbers. There's like almost zero delay from the time I hit send to or post to the time that you guys get it down and cash in hand, you know. So we do them every month for our VIP members. So if you want free cash and you want to join, that's one of the exclusive perks here. So yeah, congratulations to the winner. Which one's better? Smash the like button. Happy Friday, guys. Sound good on my end. Thank you, Joshua. And congratulations, by the way, Joshua, for leveling up and getting your next membership badge. I appreciate that. And I saw you were excited for it in the comments. I don't ever really get to go live very often and get to interact with you when those kinds of things happen. So it's really cool to see that. So yeah, man. Love the new crown, brother. Mickey, what's going on, man? You said stream seems good so far. Hi, everyone, and what's up? All right, so we're all set to go. Now, before I get fully started, I did have some questions here from our chief moderator, and I wanted to go ahead and answer some of the questions that he kind of put ahead of the live stream here. Our chief moderator here says, what are your thoughts on Sony limiting the brightness output on their model? Was it done to save the panel? Though one would think we already have several features that protect OLEDs from burn-in burn-in development over the years. So I think honestly, as far as brightness, I think Sony is taking more of a if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of approach, if I'm being honest, because we know like the quantum dots help you achieve better brightness. That's just one of the big benefits. Up to 1500 nits is what they advertise, and I think you even have like a slide where you show that. And the thing is, it's like when we're talking about these OLEDs, it's important to understand like we're moving away from WOLED. Like the future is now, right? I'm happy, man. Like I've been watching everything on my Samsung S95B, and it is truly like the best TV, like flat out. Like I put it up against my C1 again yesterday. But this time, because when I showed you guys the comparison, I think I mentioned this in the comparison, it was like at medium on the peak brightness. I then actually ended up setting it to high. And then when I set it to high, forget about it, the C1 didn't have a chance. So, but that wouldn't have picked up on camera. So that's one of those things that get really challenging. As far as brightness in Sony, I think Sony literally kind of went out of their way to lower the brightness because, again, they don't have to, the expectations are bargain basement. One of the things I've noticed, and anybody can kind of play this back if you don't trust me on this, okay? We saw dialogue coming out of Digital Trends, CNET, and other reporters, okay, that were saying things along the lines of, oh, I mean, is it brighter? I mean, yeah, I mean, not not really that much. So it's all right. It does the job. Like, nobody's been blown away by this thing, and we've even seen complaints about elevated black levels. Now, of course, this could be fixed with a patch. But then there begs the question, I mean, like, we know there's going to be a Sony tax. And if you don't know what Sony tax is, Sony is the greediest manufacturer out there. Every product they've ever created has always been expensive. From cell phones, laptops, when they were making them with Vio, everything. They always put a premium on everything. Sometimes it's justified, most times it's not. And when the Samsung comes out and they're just like seeing Sony, like, basically say, hey, we've got a Quantum Dot OLED, and they know they have a monster, and they release it ahead of time, which is probably, like, I saw you were saying something to the effect of, you know, we're supposed to release it next year in 2023, release it early because they saw Sony was releasing theirs. So to get around, that's what they did, and the price is just ridiculously low. We were expecting, now I say ridiculously low because for Quantum Dot OLED, we were expecting and fully prepared to pay $4,000 for this. We were all ready for it, myself included. I was like, all right, $4,000 in hand, here we go. And everybody was like, well, I mean, why do that if now Samsung has it for $21.99? That's nothing. That's literally half of, a little less than half, more than half, but whatever, than what we were looking for, right? So that's the thing. Now, the next question here from our chief moderator is, any improvements made to menus like the color management system controls and things like that? So the big answer on that is no. Samsung hasn't had any improvements as far as color management, but I suspect Sony will. So here's the thing. This is where it gets dicey for Samsung. If Sony can come out and have a better color management system, which they already do, all they have to do is not break it, right? Just import it from the A90J over to your next model, and now you're going to have a better experience as far as color accuracy. Because being able to adjust colors independently on a hue, saturation, and luminance level really gives you power that Samsung will never have on the S95B until they change it to a hue, saturation, and luminance slider, which it's already done. The UI is baked in there. They're not changing that, right? Especially since I'm the only one that's going to complain about it. Nobody else seems to understand the value of it yet because nobody else makes beyond reference settings. They're all sitting here looking at computer software, and they're like, it tells me to do this. That's all I'll do. I mean, the best way I can sum up the situation with the color management system is like, think of me like a chef, right? I've been cooking for many years. I know what to put in there to make it taste good and to give it that flavor. But then you have some kid that graduated with master's degrees and all this stuff, and they think that if you go by the book, you'll get that same ethnic taste. And I'm sitting here telling you there's something that you got to add in there to make it taste like mama used to make. And they just don't understand that, right? That's the concept with my settings versus everybody else. And it's really, that's the thing with the color management system, and it's holding Samsung back. Cyan, hear me on this. Watch any other YouTuber, you'll see it. The cyan representation against WOLED is terrible. It usually has more of a pale look to it. It's not as true cyan as it's supposed to be. So that's Samsung's biggest weakness. Now, all the other colors, of course, that's where they come out and swing really hard. You know, it's a monster, but that is their biggest weakness. And ultimately, that's where Sony can pull ahead. Now, we've got another question here. Thoughts on brightness performance against LEDs? Brightness performance against LEDs. I think the brightness performance of the Sony is probably going to be worse because I'm hearing rumors that it's targeting 1,000 nits for their OLED. If they're doing that for safety or longevity, we won't know until time, which I will be testing the Samsung S95B for a duration of time to make sure that as time goes on, it's holding up and it's not getting burning. But so far, I haven't even seen image retention. Normally, if you have even tiles on the screen, like I've already forgotten my menus up on the screen already, and I came back literally just today, just happened, as I was shooting that gaming video. I was like going into the editor, and then I come back and I'm like, oh shit, that's right, I left the TV on, and it had tiles on the screen and everything, so no image retention of any kind. So that's the thing that, like, I'm very confident with Samsung, at least at this point, will of course put it through its paces, but nothing there. Thoughts on dark scenes, Black Crush? I have had no kind of Black Crush of any kind at all. Like, it does not exist on this TV, like, at all, so far in my testing with what I've been doing with video games and movies and stuff like that. Now, I do notice that blacks are inkier than they are on things like the C2, where they open up the shadow detail a lot more to answer the Black Crush problem that the C1 had, but in terms of like Black Crush, you just straight up losing detail like the old B7s and the, you know, other OLEDs that used to struggle with that. Not a thing here. Early on, we heard about possible banding issues. Any update? I have had zero banding issues of any kind. Actually, I found that with smooth gradation on in SDR, it doesn't matter. I'm having way worse banding on my C1, and that really shocked me. And we're talking about, even when you use Rec 709, I've had worse banding on even low bitrate content than I do on the Samsung, which is like, that's probably their neuro processor, 4K, whatever they want to call it, their neural processor, whatever. Okay, they're playing semantics with words to get around cognitive processor, but we know what they're doing. But either way, it does a great job of cleaning up all that stuff. I don't have any banding issues of any kind. So that's the thing. And then once you start playing 4K movies, I haven't had any banding at all with that. Many of you guys know I've been watching the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. That shit, bro, forget about it. Like, oh my God. Bro, it's like, is that even the same movie? Like, that's what the Samsung does. It's ridiculous. The brightness, all it slaps so hard. So yeah, no issues, man. No issues with banding. Seeing reports of smart calibration wrecking people's color space, forcing factory reset. What do you recommend people do? So obviously, now I'll say this: back in 2018, Samsung did have a glitch with local dimming. Not really something that's relevant to many people who don't know this, but Samsung has always had these weird bug UI issues where if you do something like, for example, you go from local dimming high to local dimming, low, and like at the beginning of my Q8FN, it would like trigger a glitch that like all the crazy black crush in the world would exist, and then you have to literally just toggle it back. So I think for those issues, I mean, maybe try resetting the entire color space or all the settings, to just reset all the settings. I haven't run into that because, truth be told, I am a calibrator. I do this myself. So I don't rely on automated tools. I don't need them, right? And truth be told, just throwing that out there, okay, you won't need them either. Just join, $5 is all it costs you, and you get my settings, and then you're beyond reference, and you don't have to get any of that crap anyway. And I guarantee you my settings are better than anything the auto calibration could do. That's a fact. So, I mean, at that point, I mean, that's what I would recommend people do. I mean, is it a bit of a biased answer? Yeah, of course. But I truly believe in the service that I do offer here, and I think that's the thing here. Now, in terms of when it comes to Samsung as a company and their track record, should we keep our TV, should we be cautious when we update our TVs more or less? Yes, do not update your TV if you're not happy with it. Samsung destroyed my KS8000. They destroyed my Q8FN, and I will never update another Samsung device ever. I don't even update my phones. I literally run them into the ground. I will never update anything Samsung. That is my advice as a professional and as a consumer with many years behind Samsung. Do not do it. You could take the chance, but I'm living on 1041 or 1040. That's the firmware I'm on, and it's staying that way. I don't care what they come out with. I just don't trust Samsung. I have zero faith. Now, one could argue, well, Quantum, then maybe you should look at the Sony because maybe Sony has a better track record, but no. Sony also has destroyed TVs like my 900E with many updates. The black levels got weaker magically, of course, around the time they come out with the new 900F model. So it's always something with these people. And if you don't know this about updates, planned obsolescence is a thing, and you just have to kind of go at it with that. And not everything that glitters is gold, and that's what I would say to everybody watching. And then we've got 9. Thinking back, this is the most exciting TV. I'm sorry, the most exciting TV that you look for. Oh wait. Thinking back before this TV, what was the most exciting TV that you look forward to watching? And now, fast forward, how does that compare to the Samsung S95B? So, in a nutshell, my favorite TV, bar none, was the LG C1. And I still love my C1, by the way. I'm not like looking at my Samsung and I'm like, that's it? Chucking my C1 in the garbage. Absolutely not. I love my C1. I think there's a time and a place and you have to understand what you're getting out of, the TVs. Usually you have to make extreme sacrifices. This year you only have to make a mild one. The sacrifice that I have to make is with cyan. So cyan is something that's like super important to me, and I love the representation of cyan. So the fact that the Samsung struggles with that, but the LG doesn't, that's where, like, if I'm watching something that's rich in cyan or like a teal and orange look or / LUT that the director applied to it, that's something that I'm going to have to really go towards LG for, because movies like more Marvel-like movies, they love teal and orange looks, especially once they get to those more dramatic scenes. So it really, you have to understand what you're watching and if you're willing to make sacrifices in certain areas. So for me, it was a C1, and it compares great to the Samsung. That's just what I'll say there. I hear the viewing angle just off to the side of the center actually is clear image. What can you say about viewing angles on the S95B? Viewing angles are beautiful. I have zero problems, no issues whatsoever, and that's just as real as anybody could tell you. Like, I'm telling you, like, I've been going through and I've been looking at countless content pieces off at an angle as I'm setting up the camera and the tripod, and I'm going back and forth between my life and just living, and it's been great. So no issues of any kind. Okay, so I hope that answered all of your questions, brother. And now we're going to get down into a lot more of the questions that we have here. We have Jason Lee. What's going on? You said, is it cough that never ends? Yes. It ends, my friends. We got Sean Cook. You said, are Samsung TVs worth getting this year? I mean, no. I would say the only Samsung TV worth getting this year is the S95B, and that's like straight up, because Samsung now, I mean, if we're just going to call it like it is, they're garbage, okay? Everything is scaled back. The local dimming zones don't perform like they should. They claim that they have local dimmings that are the size of a grain of sand or close to it or whatever, and it has like, it's a blooming monster. It is messy. It's disorganized, and they want $2,000 for that. And it's like, listen, man, if you've got that kind of money knocking around, just do the right thing for yourself and get the S95B, because that's what Samsung wants you to do anyway. Now, I will say personally, there is one big gripe that I do have with Samsung this year, and it's that there is no One Connect box on this TV. You have to still go into the back of the television and fiddle around, and I think it's stupid. And I do foresee, like, on future models, them rolling it out, but not on this one kind of thing. So that's a little salt that you have to take. You have to understand your victories and your losses, that kind of thing. But yeah, we've got The Cough Lives On. Honestly, we needed to name it. I don't know what we were going to name the cough. If anybody's got a good name for the cough that won't go away, what can we call it? So far, I've got my vote on pestilence. You let me know what you vote for. All right. Doesn't brightness depend on the lighting of the environment? The darker the room, the darker the room, why would you need it so bright then? I mean, yes and no. Okay, so yes, an argument can be made when you're in a darker room, you wouldn't necessarily want the brightest TV ever. However, enter the Samsung S95B, bro. Perfect black, brilliant LED level brightness, quantum dot color. The thing is basically a hybrid that gives us micro LED performance without having to wait until they figure out all the issues with it. And the best part is that this thing is under $4,000. Under $3,000 if you get the 55-inch. So it's a no-brainer. It's expensive, yes, but it's not at all what we thought it was going to be for this cutting-edge level of technology. It's like, okay. So I think, yeah, it has its merits. And if you see it in a dark room, bro, like, I'm going to probably show you on the channel, maybe in another video, like dark room performance, bro, like you have to see it. You have to see it in a dark room. It doesn't like light up your room in a way that like hurts your eyes. It makes you focus on the details more, and you really start to appreciate what the TV can do. And I think that's the thing here. What's going on, Handy Cart? We've got Anonymous. You say, is color volume and color gamut separate from the C1, not just brightness and gains? Well, it's not really like color volume and color gamut being like separated. It's more or less just like, better brightness leads to more color volume when you're in certain color spaces. So, for example, if you're in HDR, then of course you're going to unlock that 100% color coverage to DCI-P3 that they love to talk about, the color volume and all that. But in terms of like, is it separated? There's not like a color volume segment and like a, what did you say? A color gamut and a color volume section. There's nothing like that. It's just one does one entirely different thing from the other. The color gamut, though, is the part that disappoints me, because all you have is normal, native, auto, custom, which defaults to Rec 709. So you don't really, or BT 709, you don't really have many options. So that's my thing with Samsung. Where on the older sets, like my Samsung Q8FN, through HDR Plus, a mode that lets you take SDR content and up-res it more or less to HDR through simulation, it really was like next level, because you can then go in and it's like the BT 2020 option. And then by doing that, well, boy, oh boy, don't you just get like a world of difference. If this TV had that, it would crap on every TV for the next decade. Yeah, I would absolutely sign off on that. But it doesn't have that, and they haven't had it for years. And I've, again, been the only person complaining about this because apparently I'm the only one that ever knows how to use these features, and so everybody just goes, oh, that useless feature that does nothing, not realizing that it unlocked BT 2020, which is a major loss for us. So it's one of those things. But yeah, we've got what's going on, Lakers 315. You said my guy. Weird feelings. You got a lot of weird feelings. You got a lot of liked videos for the first time home buyer. To be talking, wait, what? Shit with the clown faces, money. I don't understand what you're saying, Kelly. Maybe you're responding to somebody. We've got, should I go with the A95K or S95B? Your opinion? I would say S95B. Now, here's why. Price is likely to be cheaper, especially because Samsung has hit the market first, so they might be able to lower prices first. In addition to that, there are things I know about Sony that if they do again, it will be a disaster. For example, motion. They don't seem to see a problem with the way motion has been rendered on the following TVs. The A9S, the A9G, the A90J. They don't seem to have a problem. So this new A9 series, the A95K, I have no faith that they're going to address motion because every single reviewer looks at them and goes, you did a great job, Sony. Motion is excellent. As I look at the most disgusting artifacts I've ever seen on a luxury television, a high-end television, like what is that? But yeah, that's the one thing. The other thing is, I personally, this might not be for everybody, maybe not, I'm the kind of guy that likes to tabletop my television. So Sony has this problem where they think that you want a TV that can't be used unless you have a media console that's the entire length of the television. That is very short-sighted to me. So for me, personally, I like to have the pedestal design because it fits any kind of media console. And then it gives you room to add accessories like a Blu-ray player on the top if you want. Or maybe for some people, I've seen them do this like figurines or like little decorations, decor, things like that. It gives you more room. Or if you want a little sound bar somewhere, if you can. But Sony just seems to want one kind of design, and it's stupid to me. I just, frankly, personally, I don't like the design of the Sony. It's already out the gate less appealing. And that's a me thing, though. So everybody's going to make their determination on that. But yeah, and then of course, brightness. I do not foresee Sony beating Samsung on that brightness. And that makes a big difference in color volume, as we were talking about when we get to HDR content, which Sony has been struggling with for a while, as far as like, you know, getting it to a point where it's just like, you keep the brightness, you don't lose any of the color, and everything was just bang on 100%. And, you know, all OLEDs have kind of struggled with that, and that's why everybody's trying to get it brighter and get it to LED, and so enter a 1500 nit plus peak on the Samsung what is it, S95B, you know what I mean? Like, it's serious. So, yeah, that's why I would recommend it. Hi, Quantum. Is there anything OLED can do better than QD OLEDs? How about darkroom performance between the two? I think they're about the same. The only thing it does better, really, is the reproduction of the color blue, particularly because of the WOLED panel's benefit. Blue is just one of their accurate colors that they get. Just bought my second C1. Your settings absolutely destroyed factory settings. I would most certainly hope so, America First, but thank you, brother. I appreciate that. How is ABL on the Samsung S95B when playing sports games? Well, I don't actually play sports games, so if any of you guys know, let them know down below. Wrong way, what's going on, brother? You said, what do you think, Q? Will LG answer with something to compete with the A95K? Possibly, yeah. They probably will get the idea that they're going to lose the entire market share. So they're not trying to do that. I'm sure right now their shareholders are freaking out. They're all talking about how they need to get their hands on their own quantum dot. And I'm going to be very real with you. I'm just going to say it. If LG comes out with C1 level features and performance, and they go back to that, don't do C2. See, what they did with the C2 is garbage, okay? As far as like, you know, scaling back on things like the black frame insertion technology from OLED Motion Pro to now the OLED Motion, which only has a toggle, one mode. You don't have the low setting. You only start off at high, and that's all you get. That's a downgrade. And then, of course, the motion problems. If they go back to the C1, and then they add like a color management system and the quantum dots and do what they do best, they will beat everybody. They will, because they are really good at finding ways to give you really accurate color, and clarity is something that LG is very good at. If they get back to that, then wonderful. I mean, hats off to them. It'll be praised as the best TV again. But OLED from LG right now, yeah, it's a problem. So hopefully, I think they might. What's going on, Ari? You said, hey, Quantum, what is the panel version on your S95B? Does it really matter anymore? Honestly, I haven't looked at that kind of stuff in years. I frankly haven't really cared. I take a retail unit out of the box and I just run with it from there. So I don't really get bogged down by the panel types. I used to, especially with the Sonys back in the day, but with OLEDs and stuff like that, I really don't care. And with most TVs these days. Gaming PCs, Samsung or Sony, QD OLED. I would say Samsung. I would definitely say Samsung as far as QD OLED. Which settings do you use personally for your C1? My settings personally for the C1, I switch back and forth quite a lot, but I am a fan of, like, I switch between the filmmaker mode ones, I switch between the vivid mode ones, so it's all over the place. There's a lot. It depends on what I'm doing and per the kind of content that I'm watching. But alright guys, I gotta wrap this up. Just a short live stream today, nothing too crazy. I wanted to really just touch bases with you guys and talk about my thoughts on the Samsung S95B versus the A95K. But I gotta go eat dinner, gotta go spend time with the family. If you guys have more questions on this, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty and being a part of the live stream here today. I appreciate all you guys. But it's time to go get some food, man. I'm like dying over here. But alright guys, until the next video, I'll see you.